Wow, somebody actually answered this all this time itself, cool. I guess we are doing the Plasma Punisher today. So, the PP comes with 225 damage of medium armor penetration on a radius of about 6 meters. And since it's an explosive weapon, it has the very same durable as normal damage, once again standing at 225. It has capacity of 10 and 8 per max, with ergonomics standing at 65, which is pretty decent. Interestingly enough, the bullet itself has light armor penetration with 0 ballistic damage, but it doesn't matter at all as the projectile explodes before even touching anything. Since it's from the Punisher family, you would probably assume it's a plasma shotgun, and you couldn't be more wrong as it's more of a plasma grenade launcher. Yes, it is limited to pretty close range as it has an insane gravity factor on its projectile, although unlike the shotgun it shoots out one big exploding ball of plasma, which is more similar to the grenade launcher than any of the shotguns. As I mentioned earlier, the projectile of Plasma Punisher explodes before it even touches anything, so there is no way to go for any weak spots, and it will go straight for the main health pool, usually. The Plasma Punisher is going to be very good against any light and medium enemy as it has good damage, medium armor penetration, area of effect, and a huge stagger force, which is applied even on the shockwave, which adds up additional 4 meters, so the stagger force is applied on a radius of 10 meters. And with RPM enough to shoot every second, you will be keeping the enemies basically stunned unless they are already dead or get pushed out of the range of the shockwave. The things you have to keep in mind are that you are not going to utilize this weapon on distance as the projectile is simply too heavy for this, and you have to also watch out for not using this weapon too close or you will just kill yourself because it's an explosive weapon with pretty huge damage. We're gonna go straight for the clankers, and here any medium enemy dies in max 4 shots anywhere and they will die in groups, making the Plasma Punisher very good at taking down patrols of the Devastators. The most fun thing about it is that you can even shoot at the shield of the Heavy Devastator and they will be getting pretty much the full damage, also dying in 4 shots if you're going even for the shield. The same logic applies to the troopers behind their turrets, so you do not have to aim around and try to get them from sight, you can just shoot the turret and the trooper behind it also will be dead. I personally found that out of any medium and light enemies on this front, the Plasma Punisher has the most trouble with the reinforced Scout Striders, but that pretty much can be just me and I didn't really aim well. And also keep in mind that usually I don't bother with this gun to aim anywhere else than top of the reinforced Scout Strider, as yes, you can kill them this way, but it's going to take a little longer. So that's basically why I feel it's a little worse against them. That explains a lot. When it comes to the heavies though, really only enemy you can realistically take down is the Hulk, if you can see their vent long enough, as it's one of those weak spots that the Plasma Punisher can actually utilize, and it takes 4 projectiles to take the Hulk down, but it's not really useful in combat, as probably you will not see the vent of the Hulk that long, and for sure on the tank you will not be seeing the upper vent this long. You could go for the lower vent before the previous patch, but guess what, now it's Heavy Pen. Yes, I am still pissed about it. It's also a big no-no for the Factory Strider and the gunships because of obvious reasons, and for the Vox engines, as Vox engines are explosive resistant, so even on the vents you will not be doing pretty much anything, if anything. So yeah, it basically sucks against heavies, but it doesn't have to be good against them because it shreds any type of any other unit on this front, especially being pretty much, I think, only real crowd control weapon out of the primaries for the automatons, as their crowd is the medium units, and usually you don't have anything that efficient as the Plasma Punisher for, well, crowd controlling them. Next up we have the Illuminate, and once again it slaps. Against the Voteless, of course, they are the no-brainer for this weapon. You just shoot and in max 2 shots you will be getting a large kill counts. And basically the Overseer are the same no-brainer, just taking 1 more bullet, 3 projectiles to take them down, and since they are staggered, they are not fighting back. Just like with the automatons and the Devastators, this is the only weapon that is actually a medium target crowd control. I mean, there are some that can crowd control medium enemies, but for sure not to the same degree as this one. The only really variant of the Overseer which might be annoying is the Flying Overseer, as they might be harder to hit, but if you land the shots, they are going down in just 2 shots. Against the flash mobs, it's also pretty effective as it takes only 7 shots to take them down, and you can hurt multiple at the same time. But here I would draw a line, as the harvesters are basically impossible to be killed with this weapon, stingrays are of course out of reach, and leviathans too, and against the appropriators, even if you can kill them, it's too much of hassle to really care about the mechs, and you can only really use it against the overseers and the obtruders, and the obtruders also can be a little bit annoying if they are not in the group. So basically against those enemies I would just take something heavier hitting to back you up, and you're free to go with this weapon and no problems. Lastly we have the Terminids, and as you can guess, once again the Plasma Punisher is highly effective against any light and medium enemy, especially effective though against the Spewers and really any other exploding one, as by killing one and dealing damage to some around, because you have an explosive weapon, they are going to cause a chain reaction, exploding multiple bugs by killing one and getting rid of more bugs. That of course means it's going to be very effective against the Spore Burst train. Just keep in mind they are going to be faster if they walk through their own cloud, but it shouldn't be that much of a problem if you can keep up with the kills. But outside of that is also good against any other subfaction of the Terminids. Against the Predator's train because of the stagger force, just make sure they do not catch up to you. And against the Rapture's train, as the Plasma Punisher can dig them out of the ground. But once again I draw the line on heavies, as with only exception being the Impaler, as always taking 7 shots to the forehead, you cannot really do anything to those enemies, and it's just really going to be a waste of ammo, so just use an anti-tank. Last comes the equipment advisory section, and I personally really liked using the Plasma Punisher alongside the gas grenade. The gas grenade would soften up the enemies and confuse them so they cannot fight back even more, and the Plasma Punisher will have an easy frag. Also a pretty neat combo is using any melee weapon except for the stun button with the Plasma Punisher, as you know, you cannot really defend your personal space with it because you will explode yourself, but melee has an infinite ammo and is pretty good if you know how to use it, so well, let's use it for what it was made, for up close combat. And lastly, one of the armor passives that reduce explosive damage, so you are just safer using this gun. And that's it. To be honest, up to this point of making this video I didn't really understand how good of the medium armor crowd control this weapon is, as really the only other real crowd control for medium enemies when it comes to the primary weapon, it's maybe the Torture, maybe the Stalker. These are the only that come to my mind, and well, maybe the Raptor. But this one is just amazing and the best out of the primaries for it, even if others can do it. But okay, that's enough of talking for today. I will be seeing you in the next one. See ya, Helldivers.